All right, what to do after the challenge? Um, there is no full blanket answer. Most people will kind of fit into one of three categories. And you can say there's always a flow chart type of mindset for each of those categories. So let's say, first category, if you follow the plan 90 to 100%. If you follow the plan 90 to 100%, more than likely you got some type of result, some type of progress. Um, no matter where you started, you got some type of progress. A simple answer could be most people do well when they have phases of dieting. Once you've been dieting for an extended period of time, no matter whether it's light dieting or extreme dieting, either one, your body starts to down regulate. You start getting more effective, efficient with activity. And it's kind of like your body is like, we've been losing a lot of weight, so let's turn down these hormones. Let's down regulate your metabolism, so you're not burning as many calories as we used to. Let's make you hungry because we don't know why you're losing all this weight, and we think we're gonna die, so we're gonna try to make you fat again, basically. So coming out of that diet for a week or two can kind of replenish your body, restore your body, and kind of, to keep it simple, give you a reset. So let's say 90% to 100%, a simple answer could be to go back to the previous plan. Have yourself a meal or two, just not a whole day, just a meal or two, free meal. Within that too, give your body a reset, give yourself a little freedom, enjoy yourself, and then come back down to that plan and see what happens. Um, it's kind of three steps regardless of where you are, but let's say during those breaks, when I give people breaks, sometimes your metabolism speeds up. Sometimes your body is so downregulated it's not prepared to digest and process that food. So let's say if your weight flies up as soon as you go back to that height, that the previous plan, then you want to either bring that food back down, or you want to make sure you increase your cardio to kind of balance that out. If your weight stays the same, that's a good sign. You're increasing calories, um, and your weight stays the same. Typically, that means your body was slightly stressed out. It needed that food to make your body relax, reduce stress, and your hormones probably became more balanced. Metabolism start flying around, blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes if you bring the food up, your weight will actually drop. So that's even better sign. That means your body, it is a sign that your body really was under stress and needed a break. But it also a sign that your metabolism is working properly like it should. And you can ride that. If it drops, you can stay the same until it stops dropping. Then you can bring that, go back to the last plan, and then you can go back into the diet. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so that was 90 to 100%. So just in case it wasn't clear, 90 to 100%, go back to the previous plan, which you say phase two plan. Go there for a week or two, and then come back down. 80 to 90%. First, we got to be honest, is why is it classified as 80 to 90%? Because let's say 80 to 90% for some people could be an extra 200 calories per day, which times 7 is how many calories per week. And that could, something's in my eye, that could really hurt your diet. So let's say sometimes, depending on where you are, you could be around 250 calories less than what you need to stay the same. So if you unintentionally chewed gum, had a diet soda, added sauce to your food, you could have took yourself out of diet mode. So we got to be honest first and make sure that you are actually in a diet when you say that 80 to 90%, because that means so much. Which, when you don't know and you're not used to tracking calories, it could be very small item, but it's very calorie dense. So it could be way more calories than we think. So in that case, first, let's be honest. If, let's just say, you weren't eating all your meals, you didn't plan well, so you missed a lot of meals, you didn't do all the work, you missed workouts, but let's say you weren't eating junk, you weren't eating a whole bunch of processed food and stuff like that, and you're in that 80 to 90% range. I would say it's safe to do the same thing, especially if this is kind of new to you. You've never been on a meal plan, you've never been this strict. So even though you didn't follow the transformation plan 100%, it's still, you still make progress on some level. You created better habits. You ate cleaner than you ever have for a long period of time. Or if you're anywhere in that, then it's safe to do the same thing. Let's say if there's 3 phases of that meal plan in the transformation, it's safe to go back to that phase 2 plan and kind of do the same thing, have the same mindset. You can just keep it simple. If you want to stay aggressive and get back into it, you can do that for 2 weeks and then right back down into phase 3 to continue dieting. If you maybe a little more experienced, if you're just curious and want to do trial and error, you can have that same mindset. If your weight flies up, probably need to increase that cardio and or bring it back down. If your weight stays the same, that's a good sign that your body was slightly stressed and needed that break, and then hopefully you have a decent reset. If your weight drops, then your body was very stressed. But because it's dropping, that means your metabolism sped up. So you're still in a good place. And then you have the option of getting even more aggressive by bringing that plan back down in 2 to 3 weeks, or you can kind of stay the same, and as long as you're still progressing. So basically, from 80 to 90%, as long as that's you classify yourself in those percentages for a reasonable range, it's safe to go back to that phase 2 plan for 1 or 2 weeks, depending on how your body responds, and then come back down. If you were following the plan less than 80%, let's just say you weren't following the plan. Hopefully, you still made progress, and hopefully you improved on something. You improved on a skill set of eating consistently, eating more, being able to eat even when you didn't want to eat, eating when you're supposed to, not based on your appetite. Just going to the gym consistently for more than 3 weeks. If you had any of those things, you still made progress, but there's so many variables, there's no real guidance for that. Because let's say if the plan had you eating 1,000 calories and every day you were eating 20% less or 20% over, so I would say, if anything, after this challenge, just have yourself a free meal, enjoy yourself if you've made reasonable progress, and then have an honest conversation with yourself. Why was my adherence less than 80%? And if you can just focus on one thing that will make everything better and just do that for a period of time, you'll be fine. And then sooner or later, you'll get used to doing that consistently, and then you can add another thing. So for some people, even if they followed the plan 80% or less, if they just got an extra hour of sleep, their body would have had the opportunity to burn way more fat. So like, even if the diet wasn't perfect, you might can get more sleep and your metabolism speed up and your hormones balanced and you have more energy and your mental is better, so you can deal with people getting on your nerves throughout the day. So after you get off work, you still got energy to work out, and it can be a whole positive domino effect just by getting more sleep. Some people that's drinking water, some people just planning their meals better. Some people they don't like eating the same thing, so they try to do all the meal planning on Sunday, and then by Wednesday they was tired of it. So they need to plan to do half of the meal prep on Sunday, and then plan to meal prep a little bit on Wednesday. If I'm meal prepping beef or chicken, I usually do it on Sunday. And if I'm doing more during the week, I usually keep like some shrimp because it takes way less time. I get the ones that's already peeled and deveined. All I got to do is run water on them for 5-10 minutes. They thaw it out, throw them in the pan. I'm done. Less than 30 minutes. From freezer to in Tupperware, 30 minutes, I'm done. So finding out systems like that can really help. So less than 80%. Just have a free meal. Have an honest conversation with yourself. Choose that one thing that you can improve on that will help everything else, and then do that until 21 days, whatever it takes for you to be consistent. It's kind of second nature. And then just build upon that. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody on the team is perfect. But we get better every day, and we just keep building upon that foundation. So yeah, that's what we think you should do. So yeah, have a free meal, If you're on that 80 to 100%, go back to that last plan, see how your body respond, then come back down into that plan to keep going. My brain just died. So let's say if you got two, for the people that got all, if you got you good. You don't want to do nothing else. Then the same thing, go back up to that last plan, see how your body responds. If your body responds the same, then just stay there for a little while. Stay there for 4-6 weeks. If you don't gain any more weight from increasing those calories, then bring that food back up and go. You can go to the first plan, and by the end, hopefully you're more comfortable, and then start trying to make substitutions. Try to add different seasonings and stuff like that. So I don't want to rant too much, but that's a good blanket for what you should do after the challenge. Any questions from that, anything that won't clear, just ask it in the group chat, and I'll take care of it.